Greetings everyone, we are Gemini 5. The topic that we're gonna cover for today is what is Ansible, why we have to utilize Ansible, Ansible architecture, Ansible playbook, Ansible inventory, and working of Ansible. Let's start with what is Ansible. Ansible is one of the open source software tools that automatically create and control operating environment. The operation environment involves three areas, which are IT automation, configuration management, and automatic deployment. For the IT automations, we can write the instruction that automate the IT setup that we would typically operate manually in the past. Next is the configuration management. It has to have a consistent configuration image setting up hundreds of servers. The last area is automatic deployment. In this area, applications are deployed automatically in the variety of environments. Therefore, this tool is normally utilized during the deployment and operations process in the depth of methodologies. Moreover, Ansible has Red Hat as the world-leading enterprise Linux platform, and it's an open-source operating system. Red Hat has three elements to support Ansible, which are Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Red Hat OpenShift, and Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform. Next, Uri will tell the reason why we have to utilize an Ansible.
Thank you, Mook, for providing us in detail about what is Ansible. Now, we know what is Ansible, but why we need to use it. In the beginning of network computing, when deploying and managing server reliably and efficiently has been challenged. Previously, system administrator managed server by hand, installing software, changing configuration, and administering service on individual server. Later, the application was growing, the data was bigger and bigger, and the application became complex. Administrators realized they couldn't scale their manual system management as fast as the application they were enabling. Therefore, the developer team has work overload. Also, the administrator has to keep updating all the time. This could take a long time. Therefore, these problems can be solved by Ansible. To become an efficiency operation team, Ansible uses code that can write and describe the installation, configuration, and setup of the servers. So we can actually repeat and deploy those servers consistently and automatically instead of manually operating. And next, Moon will explain more about the Ansible architectures.
Thank you, Earth, for giving an explanation of why we need Ansible. Next, I will talk about the overall architecture of Ansible. By default, it manages remote connections over SSH on Linux or WinRM on Windows. Ansible consists of 4 core components, which are inventory, modules, playbooks, and plugins. First, inventory is a list of nodes or hosts having their IP addresses, databases, servers, and other informations which need to be managed. Modules are the units of codes that Ansible executes. Basically, the module is a collection of configuration code files. Playbooks is a file that defines the desired state of your system. They're written in YAML format, which describe the task and execute through Ansible. Lastly, plugins are special kinds of modules. They are pieces of code that augment Ansible's core functionality. Next, I will briefly explain the other components. The user will be the one who creates the Ansible playbooks that have a direct connection with Ansible automation engine. The cloud is a network of remote servers on which you can store, manage, and process the data. API helps in creating necessary API for the interaction of end-to-end modules. Networking helps to automate different networks, and it uses the simple, secure, and powerful agentless automation framework for IT operations and development. The hosts here refer to the machines like Linux or Unix machines, which are getting automated using Ansible. Lastly, the CMDB or configuration management database, is a kind of repository that consists of an entire network of computers of operational or IT infrastructure. Next, Kimmy will go into more detail on the Ansible playbook.
Thank you, Boom, for the explanation of Ansible architecture. Next, I will talk about the Ansible playbook, which is like a core of Ansible. Ansible playbook represents the configurations or the instruction that you write to define the infrastructure. Those instructions are written in YAML, an easy human-readable language to configure the server environment. So now, let's see the structure of the playbook. A single playbook can have many plays, and each play contains a list of tasks in an order that they should get executed. And here is the YAML script of a single play for installing the Apache web server. The first line contains 3 dashes, which indicates that it is the start of the script. After that, you can identify the playbook's name and host group of your target nodes. So in this case, we target the web server. Then, within the server environment, it has a list of tasks that will get executed. For example, in this figure, we have the ensure Apache is at the latest version task and ensure Apache is running task. Under each task, there will be a specific set of instructions to be executed. So in the first task, yum module means that a package should be installed. Then the state latest represents that the package HTTPD should be installed if it's not installed yet. But if it is already installed, it should be upgraded to the latest version. On the second task with the service module, we are making sure that the service named HTTPD is started and running by using the state started. Moreover, Ansible will not restart the service if it is already started and running. And that is the overall structure of a playbook. Now let's go back to the host group name section. This host name comes from the Ansible inventory. The inventory is where we maintain the structure of the network environment because it defines the host and group of hosts. Therefore, it enables users to run the tasks in parallel against multiple hosts defined in the inventory file. For example, in this figure, we have two groups of nodes which are a web server node and a database server node. Under each node, there are the name of the specific servers that are pointed to the specific machines within the environment. It may be an IP address of the machine or the host name. So you can see that the inventory makes it easy to manage multiple nodes at the same time by grouping them, and then just write the host group name in the playbook. All machines within the group will then have the same configuration. And that's the concept of Ansible playbook and inventory management. Now let's move on to the working of Ansible, which will be presented by Todd.
Okay, thank you, Kimmy, for the explanation of Ansible playbook and Ansible inventory. So, the working of Ansible here can be divided into 4 parts. First one is inventory. It is an essential part for the Ansible to work since it requires managing this inventory to do a lot of things. This is the first step of a lot of things. And Ansible represents all the machine that is managed on a simple file. We also as the format of .ini file. Gather by writing the program to connect to the data source and extract, which mean we keep the JSON file as a return to use in our further design. So the next one is the Ansible API. Ansible contains various API and each way to use it. So you can use Ansible API in many ways. You can use Ansible Python API to control nodes. You can extend Ansible to respond to various Python events, and you can plug in inventory data from external data source too. And the last couple thing, which is the module and plugin. For the module, Ansible ships with the number of modules that can be executed directly on remote hosts or through playbooks. User can also write their own module. This module can control system resources like service, package, or file, or handle the executing system command. And the other one is plugin. Plugin are pieces of code that augment Ansible's core functionally. Ansible uses a plugin architecture to enable a rich, flexible, and expandable feature set. Ansible ships with a number of handy plugins. So, however, you can easily build and create your own plugin too. And that's all for our research assignment presentation. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Thank you.